We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television.
The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as they hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before.
It's a beautiful Tuesday morning and a very welcome to another interesting edition of VOP this morning on Voice of the People Television. I am Fina Okechukwu. Interestingly, today happens to be the 9th day and the 9th month of the year 2025, and it's my dad's birthday. I know he's not watching me, but all the same, happy birthday to you, Salud Mickey. If you have a time to get on this particular clip, just know that your daughter loves you so much, and I'm here to make you proud even more. And I'm talking about the high points today on today's show.
Happy birthday to your father.
You tell him.
Happy
You call
birthday
him.
to your father.
You call him. You call Lord Mickey to tell him happy birthday yourselves. Anyway, we have interesting stories here this morning. One of it is about the Oworonsoki residents protesting demolitions happening in that particular axis here in Lagos State as they accuse the governor Sanwo-Olu and the government of land grabbing.
Oh yes, of course. And also we'll be looking at Labour Party rejecting Obi's candidacy as ADDC declares readiness for 2027. I am Moses Humphrey.
I am Chukwuma Okoro. Good morning and thanks for joining us. Away from those two topics, there's a third one. No more sit at home. Activists leads protest against Simon Ekpa, demands end to violence in the southeast.
Interesting one. We've had all the stories that we have. These are our major topic of conversation, but we have other interesting trending stories. Why am I having tongue rolling this morning? Why am I twisting the tongue? Because I'm thinking about dad's birthday.
Exactly.
Bring it down. Serious business. Those are the major topic of conversation this morning, but we have other interesting trending topics also that will be giving the torchlight on, and one of it is about a new declaration from the Oba of Benin. Oba Ewari II has called on Edo indigents and residents of the state to embark on a 2-week fasting and prayer to ward off evil from the land. The monarch made this known in a statement on Monday issued by Oba Medo of Benin. Efosa Igbino Wahia, the revered traditional ruler, said that the fasting will commence from September 15 to September 28 and urge all Benin sons and daughters at home and abroad to fast and pray during this period. When I saw this prayer, this prayer request and fasting request, the first thing that came into my mind, okay, we can no longer ward off evil by the work of our hands now. It has to be with the confession of our testimonies and also fasting. And I asked, what is really happening in Nigeria? Are we that religious? Why is it that things that things that happen that we're supposed to think out of the box or think that there's no box and find solution to them, we will dwell on talking about spiritual approach to it. People will fast for 2 weeks. People will fast and pray for 2 weeks for them to be able to ward off evil from the land. What are these evil we're talking about? Insecurity. People are being kidnapped in Benin. People are being killed and all that. We're talking about economic hardship also bedeviling the whole nation, not just Benin or Edo State at this point in time. And then the governor of the state, the security apparatus that we have in Nigeria cannot swiftly move in to make sure that they end the issue of insecurity, kidnapping most especially happening in the state, or put an end to the cult rivals be happening in that particular state. And then we're talking about people going, okay, after the fasting and prayers, would the fasting and prayer make people to drop the gun and stop kidnapping? Is it going to make people who actually benefit from, because it's more like kidnapping now, it's not out to be people's way of livelihood or how to make money and all that. We should find a way to leave all our challenges on the board. We should stop talking about prayers and fasting at all. Okay, the other time it was the Minister of Agric, though they later decided to shelve their own plans for a prayer session. Reason, they want crops to grow well. They want us to have bounty harvest. We are no longer in the olden days. This is not the olden days or Old Testament era. This is a time that we need to face whatever thing we're having as a challenge squarely. But anyway, I am not disputing the fact that prayer is good. Yes, it is good, because we check the US, they will tell you in God we trust. They do trust in God, but they are also making use of their brain and also their hands to make sure they actualize that which God have actually placed on their bosom. The good book says something about I'll bless the work of your hand. It didn't say go on and be idle and expect me to throw manna. It was Moses' time that he threw the man, not your own Moses, no, not your own Moses. That was when there was rain of manna and quail from heaven. But this time around, you have everything it takes. Stop the issue of insecurity, and people will keep on living and flourishing.
Oh, well, yes, of course. You've said a lot already. Well, I don't see anything wrong in fasting and praying. And, you know, I don't expect that the Oba means that we fast and pray, but don't put in the work. You know, it's a combination of everything. I remember when Nayib Bukele, president of El Salvador, I think he's still the president, when he came into office, he did a lot of fasting and praying. You know, he gathered the cabinet. They would pray fervently before they start cabinet meetings, and then afterwards, you know, they will execute the things that. And then he took El Salvador from being a crime capital, you can call it that, crime capital of the world, to something a lot better. And in fact, you know, media houses around the world started interviewing him because he did, you know, there was massive change. So I have absolutely nothing wrong with fasting and praying. But what I would add is we should put in the work. The governor of Edo State is yet to respond to the killing of 8 NSCDC.
Yeah.
I was walking to was NSPPD. So that was why I paused. NSCDC officials, 8 of them. Unfortunately, he has not responded. And one is wondering why. Has he asked for investigations to be, to be held on the ground? And then maybe, I'm just hazarding a guess. Probably when he wants to speak with information. But I think the people need to know that the governor cares about them. I think they need to know that the government will protect their interests. We cannot forget too soon what happened the other time when the travelers, those travelers that claimed to be hunters, were killed. As bad as that was, we saw what happened to the perpetrators. All right. So now that officials, those who signed up to defend people, have been attacked and killed, we should hear from the government. Let us know that the government care about them, and let us know that something is being done to ensure that whoever did it will be brought to book. You know, having said that, I think the people of Edo State, indigents and residents of the state, should, embark on this 2-week fast and prayer. And in fact, Nigerians should fast, pray, and hold our leaders accountable, and do the needful, put in the work as well, and hopefully this country will be better. We are religious. Now, I understand that's not the first time it's been done, where they fast before the New Yam Festival and the rest.
Yes, exactly the point. I wanted to put it in that context.
Okay. No, it's not the first
I know about praying for. I don't know about praying for Nigeria. I don't know about praying for Nigeria. But in the light of what we are discussing, I think it's not the first time, like Moses said, and it is tied, to the traditional rites of the New Yam Festival. It is to cleanse the land, to usher in the New Yam Festival, and it all speaks to the African cosmology, what we know as the African worldview, our belief system and all of that. It's a traditional thing, and it's been happening for a very long time. When the Oba said, look, we need to, and I think that the media put it out in a negative context, because it looks like the Oba said, we need to fast and pray so that Edo State will become crime-free. All the roads will start, be paved, the hospitals will start working and all of that, and we have good leadership. It is not in that context that the Oba put it. The Oba put it in such a way that, no, traditionally, we need to cleanse the land. It's an age-old thing. Like I said, it's an African worldview where we have to interact with the gods, your personal God and the God, the creator. In Igbo land, we call it your personal chi and the Chukwu Kiabiama, which is the God that created heaven and earth. So it's a period of cleansing. But like Moses said, I would like for us to, transport it to what is happening, to the extent that it's also a form of self-purification for the Edo people, especially the leaders there. It's more like the Holy Book said, faith without work is useless. If you say all the prayers and you don't get to give the people the dividends of democracy, then you have not cleansed the land, because you might actually have good yields, for the good harvest and all of that. But then how about inflation? How about hospitals? How about schools and all of that? The killings that are going on in Edo State, the cultism that is going on in Edo State, and for the fact that the government has remained mum on this, the governor has not said anything and all of that, it's important to let the people in government understand that, look, we entrusted our rights, our lives and property into your care. You hold it in trust for us, so you owe us an explanation, when something goes wrong. It is not right for it. But I'm just wondering, why is the government not saying anything? Has the government not said anything up until this moment? It doesn't speak good. Looks like, okay, investigation, but at least the governor's spokesperson should have said, look, we understand what happened and investigations are going on. You give the people the assurance that, look, we are working hard to protect everybody and all of that. That is one aspect of good governance, that lacked in this particular instance. Because on the other occasion, the governor was quick to act. Is it because that people, there was a backlash or that? But people didn't say, don't give us information. Anyway, the good people of Edo State, period of fasting and praying to cleanse the land spiritually and all of that. This is very important. It's part of our African worldview. Now, let's move away from that and get into another very serious topic, which is that the Association of Resident Doctors, ARD, in the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, says public hospitals in the nation's capital have been overtaken by snakes and other reptiles, more like the hunter becoming the hunted. Now, the president of ARD FCT, George Ebong, made a claim while addressing journalists on Monday, that's yesterday. According to him, doctors in Abuja are dying from snake bites. Dying from snake bites. Is it that they don't have the anecdotes or what? Antidotes rather, to cure all of that traditionally? Or is it that they don't have a modern science, that can cure snake bites? I just say
that probably is, some sort of exaggeration. I think he just exaggerated it.
Okay, you think he's exaggerated?
Yes, because if any doctor has died from snake bite, it would have made the news.
It would have made the news. I was wondering too. Anyway, the association declared a 7-day warning strike over poor working conditions. I think that's more like it.
Exactly.
Remuneration and other demands. Ebong said that the shutdown will remain until the FCTA met its demands. Now, this is quite topical because we have the minister of the FCT saying, look, Abuja is working now. We are building roads, we are building infrastructure. And of course, we understand that he's building infrastructure. But what kind of infrastructure is he building? He's building flyovers. He's building terminals, transport terminals and motor parks and all of that, modern ones and all of that. He rebuilt the ICC, with about how much money again. But in all of this, we also understand that some buildings, some schools in Abuja metropolis are quite dilapidated. We also understand, according to doctors now, that reptiles have overtaken most of the hospitals, public hospitals we are talking about. But the FCT minister is busy building houses for judges. He's busy refurbishing courtrooms for judges. To what end, Nigerians are asking? When, as a matter of fact, hospitals are dilapidated. Doctors, according to them, are dying of snake bites.
I had to... Sorry to butt in.
No, it's okay. We're holding a conversation.
I had to actually, remind myself of some of the monies spent on the projects that the minister has embarked on in recent time.
Okay.
And when you look at these figures, one is the Idu-Zuba Expressway, the right-hand carriageway was the one he fixed, and it was done for 31 billion naira. due to inflation. 31 billion naira. And then he did the arterial road, N20, the Wale Soyinka Way, including interchange bridge.
Okay, that's the airport road.
Yes, yes. That estimated, about 801.5 billion FCD allocation. Okay, that was the money allocated to it. Yes, 801.5 billion naira in 2025 budget for that one. And, a lot of others. He's been doing a lot of roads and terminals, like you said.
Yes.
Let me see.
Bus terminals.
Overall road impact. Over 10 major roads commissioned in 9 days from May 2024 up until, with more in 2025. Total sector allocation, 69 billion naira in 2024, including access roads, 69 billion. Now, and then in transportation as well, we've seen him do the Abuja Light Rail. We've seen a few other things, but none of this. The bottom line is, none of this. There's a budget for health as well.
Okay.
There's a budget for health. No. Rehabilitation of hospitals. District hospital in Gwagwalada, Gwarimpa, and Utako, ongoing. Procurement of ambulances for 8 FCT hospital cost 45.7 billion naira. So
now the question is, does it look like the National Association of Resident Doctors are they playing politics with all of this? But again, my concern is how we prioritize. It's important, to acknowledge the fact that, look, these roads are necessary for businesses.
we need to question some of these things. If these allocations, allocations have been made for health and education, the question now is, have they been executed?
Executed, that is the point. Because as at this point, the doctors are saying, no, we don't have these things. Now, hospitals are overgrown by weeds and all of that. And in reptiles and snakes, which is even killing some doctors. So it speaks to how we prioritize here. I understand that, look, it is important to build roads, for the economy to drive and all of that. Multiply effect, good roads, people from the hinterland will bring their goods and all of that, all in an attempt to drive down inflation and all of that. But how about the average citizen? Because you understand that I'm not sure that if the minister gets sick, that he will drive into the National Hospital in Abuja. He might not do that, and top people in government won't do that. They'll rather fly overseas. Like the other time, it was the Senate president that flew abroad. And when he came back, he denied, he said he wasn't sick and all of that. It's his personal life, by the way. It's not my business. But I'm concerned about the average Nigerian who lives in Abuja, who needs access to healthcare and all of that. So the person drives on a tarred road, gets to the hospital. There are no doctors. There are no drugs. There are no nurses working there. So to what end? So it still speaks to the false sense of accomplishment, that our politicians, our leaders have. They do something that will put them in the public's face to say that will spotlight them. Oh, we have built like massive bridge and all of that. The airport road, if you are driving into Abuja and you see the massive construction and all of that, and you praise the minister will say, look, I have done well. And the president will say, I have a good minister of the FCT, a minister of works and all of that. How about the average Nigerian? And I keep saying that a society's stability is measured not by how it treats the rich, but by how it protects the vulnerable. That is the essence of governance, if you ask me.
The only thing I have to say on this particular story is the fact that Abuja people, or people residing within the FCT, Federal Capital Territory, should understand that National Association of Resident Doctors, the ones in Abuja now, say they are not working. 7 days strike. That's a warning strike. So maybe if you're not feeling too well, you can either go to Nasarawa or you find your way to Niger State, because those are the two states, that share the same border with FCT. It is a slap on the face of Nigeria as a nation that in our FCT, school children had to protest because of the fact that teachers are not there to teach them over unpaid salaries. We also have doctors who are supposed to be having their A game in our FCT, Federal Capital Territory now, embarking on strike over what they tag, being killed by reptiles and all that. And then we have the FCT minister still moving around and the president saying something, forget about the naysayers, don't listen to them, continue what you're doing. And the question I'm asking this morning is, what is it going to continue with? When school people are not at school, when doctors are saying we are embarking on strike, they have their demands. And from what George Ebung said, he said, we are not going to go back, we're not going to relate on this strike until all our demands are being taken care of, because this is not the first time they're making empty promises to them. We have on another breath, NLC talking about embarking on another strike. Nupen, they are having, one challenge or another in all the sectors that Nigeria needs for us actually to keep on moving. And if all this is are being crippled at this point in time, then the question is, where then lies Nigeria as a great nation? Are we moving forward or what? Now, we need to find out all this. When you're talking about the money is being allocated to carry out these projects and every other thing, and then you're asking, we need to find a way to cross-examine, to make sure or to know if they are being implemented or not. What then do you need again when people are not in school? Children are not, it had to take a no-stake actor to organize a protest, a rally more like, VDM. Okay. Have people come up to do, will I say, a satirical way of bringing out the name of the political elite or elected officials that we have in Abuja then. And then we have now another person talking about shutting down the health, the hospital that's supposed to be the engine of Nigerians in FCT.
But Fina, I've always told you that Nigeria is not a great country. Nigeria is a blessed country. Our greatness is still in the pipeline.
What's in your term? How will you explain a giant? Define a giant. A giant is a great person, huge, great and all that. Nigeria is a giant of Africa.
Nigeria is not a giant of Africa. Nigeria used to be.
Is he a patriotic citizen?
Nigeria used to be a giant of Africa.
Are you a patriotic citizen?
As we speak now, Nigeria is not a great country. Nigeria is a blessed country with potential for greatness, but it's still in the pipeline.
Oh, God.
I can explain further.
No, it's not, no, that's okay.
Okay, it's okay.
I didn't see that coming, but
that's okay. Anyway, another issue, talking about greatness of a nation, and of course, all of it is hinged on the people, Another issue is, but this one borders on education and those seeking admission. The Olabisi Onabanjo University, Ogun State, that's OOU, has allegedly asked prospective admission seekers to get rid of dreadlocks before they would be allowed to write their post-UTME examination. Now, in a now viral video on social media, an admission seeker was seen cutting his dreadlocks in apparent obedience to the regulation of the university. The university, after public backlash, denied issuing new dress codes. Instead, says they were working on dress codes that were yet to be released to the public. Okay, well, Olabisi Onabanjo University. There are two sides to this. Of course, we know some people that carry dreadlocks, they don't look neat, all right? It looks dirty, and for some of them, there's been an attribution to a certain kind of lifestyle, all right? Especially, especially the young people. It's unfortunate that people are profiled that way, but I also know, that's why I say there are two sides to it. There are young people who were, due to religion, decided to keep locks. So for them, I wonder what it would be like being compelled to cut your hair if you are a Nazarene,
okay,
by religion. That would be disastrous. But I think we should from the home front now, parents should encourage their children to appear decent. I remember the first time I had a funny haircut on. I was really excited. I think it was punk.
Punk. I was coming to that.
It was punk. I was excited. I went to the barber shop and he gave me that hairstyle and I was excited. And I got home and I was reprimanded.
Oh, your mom didn't take you back for the man to do the job?
No, she didn't take me. She told me to go back.
Oh. Okay.
So I went back and I was go back.
And you went to clear it.
And I had to clear it, And for some reason, I didn't bother messing with my hair anymore after then. It was either spotty waves, something, or the Jerry coil. I didn't do the Jerry coil growing up. It was I did spotty waves more, but then, you see, we should just, basically, the point here is people should understand that the way you appear determines how you will be addressed. So if you appear looking indecent, you will be perceived as being a ruffian, and you'll be addressed that way. So just go about, make yourself appear decent. But for those whose locks are religious based, I hope they will be able to get some clearance and be allowed to keep, for whatever reason.
Okay. I think it's good that OOU has come out to say, look, we are still working out a dress code, and I hope they should also factor in the fact about people who appear in that manner because of their religious bent, their religious preferences and all of that. Now, that said, I'm Catholic. Sorry to say that, I'm Catholic, and I went to a Catholic school, and our principal then, our rector used to tell us that, look, the hood does not make the monk, which essentially means that, look, the way you dress does not really speak about who you are. But in real life, in terms of the permissive society that we live now, there's a difference between perception and reality. The way people perceive people that wear dreadlocks and all of that, it speaks to how the sociological, how can I put it now, how people perceive. It's a fad now. It's a fad that has caught up with a lot of young men. It's a fad that has caught up with a lot of young men. And some of them might be very decent, but because it is something that is in vogue, they also want to identify with it because of peer pressure and all of that. And I have an uncle, highly placed somewhere, and he was like, someone, they will raise this issue of dreadlocks and all of that. And he said, if I'm conducting an interview and you walk in with your dreadlock, and I see your certificate first class, master's distinction and all of that, and a written exam, you get the first position and all of that. Because of that dreadlock, I'm not going to employ you. That's his own perception about it, So, and I'm just imagining seeing my son, one of my sons, coming home with a dreadlock. I don't know how I react to that. You understand?
You don't know.
I don't know because it's not acceptable to me as we speak now, So why I say that is because a lot of people don't see anything wrong in it, but for me, I don't like it. I don't like, but you mustn't be me. And I'm not using myself as a standard, but I don't like it. Recall that the other time, the governor of Niger State, also said something about if you are wearing dreadlock, disappear from this state, because if we catch you, we are going to put you into jail and all of that. So it's about perception and reality. Like Moses said, I believe him, please appear decent, look decent and all of that. It takes nothing away from you.
There is time for everything, the Bible says. So if, for example, you're a student, you should find a way to look like a student. And how do you look like a student? You have to find a way to look so decent and clean. Don't look like a ruffian in mafia because you want to do what you want to align with what the peer pressure is. We are not Rastafarians to start with. But we have persons, like Moses pointed out, those who religious background actually, permits them to be on dreadlocks. We know that when we see that. What I'm seeing on the street now, someone you've not had a good bath to start with. And then, unapologetically, most of them actually, they don't know, for you to keep dreads.
Yeah, they look on camera. They look on camera. Matter of fact.
And then you have dreads on you, and then you're walking with maybe you have a slip-on, and then you... No.
That's the fad. That's the fad.
No, that's how.
And a lot of young people, a lot of young women identify with guys like that. I'm telling you.
Okay.
I'm telling you. You see them wear dreadlocks, sleeveless, with arms everywhere,
jeans and all that.
And that's what.
If they are artists, fine. If they are musicians, fine. But anyway, let's move away from all of that. Let's quickly run to the papers. From the Punch newspaper, we have these headlines. Nupeng shuts depots as FG. Dangote talks drag. And then we have the rider to that one. Union government, others hold high stakes meeting in Abuja. Pengasin, NATO, back Nupeng. Compensation row may stall 712 billion naira Lagos airport revamp. JAM uncovers over 6,000 AI biometric malpractices. All right, 2027, North rallies voters as South tops pre-registration list. Osun, Lagos, Ogun lead as online pre-registration hits 3.5 million. 288,614 complete physical exercises. Northern governors, parties, groups unveil campaigns to close widening regional voters gap. And then we also have a OPS reject 5% fuel surcharge. TUC threatens strike. Kaduna violence. El-Rufai ADC leaders shun police invitation. Seized allocations. Court hears Oshun's suit against CBN. 2 killed in fresh Lagos court clashes. And then we have a World Cup qualifier. Can Eagles fly high in Bloemfontein? I say they just might fly high. We wish them the very best. Oh, well, those are the headlines from the Punch newspaper.
Up next is the Vanguard newspaper, and above the nameplate, oil price to fall below $60 as OPEC eases output cuts. Tinubu orders overhaul of military operations after Borno massacre. 5% fuel consumption tax. TUC issues 14-day strike notice. Speaker Abbas, ADC, PDP, Vicar over Tinubu's responsible borrowing. 2027, that's the banner headline. Jonathan's camp, PDP top shirts wooing Peter Obi. Right after that, ex-president, only southerner that can beat Tinubu. And then we have the major pictorial there. Atiku visits Tambowal and they were smiling. They don't have a wonderful handshake. Beside that, violations. Keamo directs NCAA to start public shaming of airlines. Kora, APC chairman's wife, daughter kidnapped. FG to Dangote no Peng. We shouldn't toy with oil sector. Pengerson, Petran, others issue strike threat. And then on the sports part, that's on page 32, 2026 World Cup qualifier, Shell orders Lukman, Arokorede, Simon to shut down Bafana. And I think the match is today. I wish them all the best. And that is all we have on the cover page of Vanguard newspaper today.
Okay, now let's quickly run through the Daily Independent with the window headlines. Exam malpractice, JAM panel OK's result cancellation, candidates ban. Why crocodile tears? Return smart schools money, Enugu Patriots tell Sujimoto. Now the big story, FG, Dangote, Nupeng meeting deadlocked. Strike continues. With the riders, TUC gives FG 14 days to withdraw 5% fuel tax. Threatens to mobilize workers. Masses for strike. More stories from the Daily Independent. NCAA vows to name, shame airlines over flight disruptions. Tinubu working to engender responsible borrowing. That's coming from the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas. Air Rufai petitions Police Service Commission over alleged misconduct by Kaduna Police. Protest rocks Abuja over alleged plot to undermine EFCC. FG economic reforms showing tangible results. That's coming from the Minister of Finance, Edun. And the bottom strip headline, Tinubu sacks Umunubo, SA on digital and creative economy. And that's it from the Daily Independent.
That's how far we can go on taking a quick peep on the cover page of the National Daily. Let's go on a quick break, and when we come back, we'll dissect the first topic of conversation. And that is about Oworonsoki residents protesting demolitions happening in that area as they accuse Sanwo-Olu government of land grabbing. Do well to stay with us.
Everybody keep watching Voice of the People, all right?
2564 coming up on Burning Down, right?
So 2564 Atlantic Tower.
What happens in the hush behind hangar doors? Who signs the papers that gamble with lives? Which truths were grounded before they even ever had wings? If you've ever buckled a seatbelt at 30,000 feet, if you've ever stared out of that tiny window and wondered who's really in control of the skies, it isn't just flight, it's power, it's politics, it's pressure sealed in steel. We're peeling back the clouds from runway risks to sky-high secrets. We're diving deep where most dare not to look. Aviation Scope, every Sunday at 7 p.m. only on Voice of the People TV. We don't just report, we reveal. We don't just ask, we uncover. Because when it comes to the skies, ignorance is turbulence. Aviation Scope, the sky isn't the limit, it's just the beginning.
Good morning. It's the start of a beautiful day. Or start your day right with a healthy dose of news, fun, and inspiration. Join us on VOP this morning for the latest news, trending topics, and uplifting stories to set your day on the right vibe. From news and current events to lifestyle and entertainment, you are covered.
VOP This Morning, 8 a.m., Monday through Friday.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get drum. Hunger no get religion.
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television. Don't just react, understand. The red carpets, awards, the
Well, thanks for joining us again. Now, residents of Oworonsoki in Lagos State have staged a mass protest. Well, they did stage a mass protest yesterday following the demolition of their houses by the state government, accusing authorities of a deliberate plan to seize their land. The demonstration, which began on Sunday actually and continued into Monday, saw angry residents carrying placards and chanting protest songs. Now, they demanded an immediate halt to what they described as the unjust destruction of their homes. Now, some residents claim the government had earlier instructed them to renovate their houses, only for the structures to be pulled down after significant investments were made. Now, one affected homeowner alleged that the demolition had already led to several deaths in the community. Well, the protest grew tense on Monday, yesterday precisely, when the chairman of the Kosofe local government area, that's Moyoshori Ogulewe, was booed while attempting to calm the crowd. The Oro Youth Forum, OYF, also condemned the demolition, describing it as a crime against humanity. Well, according to the group, over 1,000 homes have been destroyed since July 2023, displacing more than 30,000 residents, including women and children. Now, they accused the government of using security forces to carry out, and this is where I have a problem, nighttime demolition, firing tear gas at residents. Nighttime demolition. Quite troubling, if you ask me. Oh, well, we do have joining us to discuss this Prince Francis Chilaka, who is a political affairs commentator. Thank you very much, Prince, for being part of the program.
Thank you, Moses.
We'll also be joined by Honorable Ejiofor Igwatu, former member, Anambra House of Assembly. He's here in the capacity of a political commentator. He joins us from Oka. Honorable Ejiofor Igwatu, I hope you've joined the conversation. Good to have you this morning. All right then. Well, when he joins the conversation, we'll get to meet him. Prince Francis. Now, some have said that this is a deliberate attempt to chase away the poor from the water banks, the river bank area, and replace those structures with more modern structures that the rich will occupy. The people are blaming the government, or I beg your pardon, they are accusing the government of, chasing them. And we hear that they were given 1 month notice. How fair is that? 1 month to relocate from a property that you had earlier been told to renovate. I know you don't work with the government, but as a public affairs commentator, what facts do you have? And how would you describe this?
To start with, I know that earlier in the year, the Lagos State government listed about 176 estates that have been marked for, demolition. And they also asked those who own lands and buildings there to come for building permits, to regularize their documentation and acquire their building permits. And the first thing that comes to mind is, who gave this building permits, initial one? I don't think I can just wake up tomorrow and go and take a land and start building. That must have been a process. Somebody must have either sold the land or somebody owns the land from birth. So it's unfortunate that the government does not take time to define ownership of land. Anybody who says it's all about land grabbing, land capturing, the person is right. It happened in Morocco. For those of us who know about Morocco, that's the new, more like the new Lekki and all of that.
The opening of that area.
But something happened. And like I keep saying, we have a problem with history. And the problem of that history is that our leaders don't go back. They don't learn from what has happened in the past. They just keep going. Even when they are pushing the people into the well, they keep pushing them. When Jakonde was governor, and that was when this issue of Morocco came up, what did he do? Before Morocco was demolished, Jakonde built houses across Lagos. You still have some, still standing till tomorrow. Dolphin Estate, the one by Ije Barracks, is one. You have them all scattered around. He built these houses. And those who had genuine papers were
allocated. Those houses.
Now, those who didn't have, was given ample time. The government of that time also helped people who didn't have enough resources to relocate. That is what you do in the same claim.
Do you think this government is taking the people for granted?
APC government, not this government. APC government has always been, has from day one, taken the Nigerian people for granted.
When you say they've been taking the people for granted, in the words of the permanent secretary, Office of Urban Development here in Lagos, I'm talking about what Bola Owodumi said. He said that they told the people, they gave them 3 years notice, before this particular demolition exercise began, for them to go back and do what? And regularize their property documents. And he said, according to him, that one person actually was the one that complied. They made the announcement.
He said they gave them 3 years?
Yes, 3 years. That was what he said.
Was it made public?
He said he went to radio stations to
Which radio stations?
And televisions to make announcements both in English and Yoruba.
Which radio stations? See, knowing what we're going through in this country today, knowing that there's so much poverty, there's so much hunger, knowing that the people are not happy, knowing that we have insecurity to deal with, a sensible government must be very careful how you push the people out to the streets. Even if you have given them 3 years and you didn't get a response, you think going in the night to demolish it is the best thing to do? So what is the difference between what this government has done and what the terrorists who go to Benue to kill people in the night have done? Is it not the same thing? Is it not the same waste of life?
Okay, all right, Prince. Yes, it's interesting. This conversation is getting very interesting. Now, the report also said that, look, since 2023, over 1,000 buildings have been demolished. Doesn't it lend credence to the fact that they were given 3 years' notice? I mean, if the people that said, the people that are affected are saying, look, since 2023, over 1,000 buildings have been demolished. Doesn't it lend credence to the fact, to the truth of the matter that, look, these people have been given upfront information about relocation and all of that?
Okoro, who are the owners of the land in question?
Oworonsoki is an indigenous community.
Good!
Okay.
So if it is indigenous, it means that the indigenous own it.
But you also know about the Land Use Act, which vests the land in the hands of who? The state governor.
I agree with you.
Okay.
Nobody's doubting it.
Okay.
But we're saying that government must have a human face.
Okay.
Government must have a human face. Not at this time. Not with what we're going through in this country right now. Because at the end of the day, between you and I, those lands will be allocated to people who have money. And the poor people will not have anywhere to stay.
All right then.
What the government should have done in the first place is, you've given them 3 years or whatever, and they're not responding. Why didn't you take up an initiative to build a settlement where you can now say, we're giving you 1 month, come and be relocated? That's why I said, that's why I said, government is not following history. Government is not being proactive.
All right then. Well, thank you very much, Prince Francis Chalaka. Let's join an independent researcher and freelance journalist who is currently joining us from California, United States, talking about Eric Ojo. Good morning to you, Eric.
Yeah, good morning. How you doing, sir?
Very well, thank you. And thanks for joining this conversation. Now, some have said in times past, that government, Lagos State government in particular, in times past, said, an individual in government, allegedly said that the poor has no business living along the coastline. And we have seen houses being demolished. We've seen a Makoko area of Yaba. We've seen houses being demolished, government taking over some of it in the guise of, wanting to protect the people. And then some of those properties allocated to wealthy individuals as well. And then the very recent one, Oworonsoki demolition. And some, the fact that the demolition largely took place at night time, with tear gas used to disperse the residents. What do you make of that? And tell us what you know.
Thank you very much. I think over the years, issues of demolition has been very, very controversial. It brings up a lot of issues of contestation. And all I have to say is that it has to do with planning. The whole thing is, it borders on how we plan our cities. Most times we just, that idea, let me start from the question you raised, of going in the night to unleash such demolition or such pain on the people that have been living there for years. I don't think is the best idea. Despite the fact that they claim that they have served notices to them severally, and it shouldn't be done so. There are ways government can adopt a softer means.
When you talk about planning, how do you propose it should be done?
Yeah, because every city in the world, they always have a master plan.
Some have argued. That there was no plan in the first instance. People just built on ancestral lands and without even giving recourse to where the drainage channel should go through. But then some of those properties, those land were also approval was gotten for some of those properties. So who in government will give out approval only for the property or the approval to be revoked and the property demolished 20 to 30 years after?
Yeah, that one boils down to the issue of corruption. In every sector in Nigeria, especially those in the public sector, there are the people who work for government, they also work for themselves. At times, those things are gotten illegally. So when they get them illegally, they think they've gotten the approval, but in the system, they are not captured. They do it under the table transaction, and they think they keep telling you, we have my CFO, I have my this. But when you go do verification, just like what happened in Abuja, when demolition was very rife in Abuja, most of those places that we have been earmarked, that have been planned for government development, people go to build houses in waterways, people go to build, they just build it and hoping that those documents they got, some of them even got it from a roadside, or those guys who are always running around those agencies. So they are not legitimately given approval. And that's where those kind of issues come up.
Mr. Eric Ojo, this particular story, we learned that the people of Oworonsoki happens to be the original owners of the land. I'm talking about that place being their ancestral home. How justifiable is it now for the Lagos state government to go there to demolish the property on the guise of development and urban planning?
Yeah, I know land, as far as ancestral issues are concerned, there are always intricacies. There are ways government handles such issues because the people are attached to their land in terms of their cultural values. Maybe they have a shrine, they have a lot of things that keeps them permanently in that spot. So if government intend to do such things, it's not just to come overnight and crush or demolish their property. Like what happened in Abuja, those guys who were living in Abuja before the place was chosen as a federal capital, they were relocated. There were some areas where government built small houses for them to stay, because you just come and it was not right for them to do that, because that is where they've lived. It's a place they claim that they have ancestral connection to. I don't think it was a good idea to just go over.
So are you joining your voice with the people now to say that the Lagos state government is wicked? Because that is one of the things that the people were chanting, that the government is wicked and heartless, trying to, will I say, sack them or take them out of their ancestral home over what they term, land grabbing.
Yeah, but the thing is, I am not actually saying that what they did, or taking side with the people. But what I'm trying to say is that they should have. I learned that even some of the video clips I watched, they said the Oba also, the king in that community went to connive with government and he didn't really took side with the government, and I didn't listen to them when they come to even hold meetings with him to make sure that there is a way they can resolve this issue rather than just coming to demolish their property and try to just displace them.
All right, and thank you very much, Mr. Eric Ojo. Please do stay with us because we'll come back to you in the course of this conversation. Now, let's come back to the studio where we still have Prince Francis Chilaka. Now, Prince, in your first intervention, your opening intervention, you said that the Lagos state said that earlier in the year that about 176 estates, have been marked for demolition and all of that. So people need to come back for recertification and all of that. If you consider what's been going on in Lagos recently, especially with this administration and in the recent past, do you see any form of ethnic undertone in all of that? Because you see streets being renamed, we see people being chased out from their business areas and all of that. And this, like you rightly said, who issued those permits earlier and why the recertification of all of that? Do you see any form of...
I have tried so hard not to look at it from that perspective, and I'll tell you why. But you see, when government does some things, you begin to ask questions, and that question boils down to what is the government trying to achieve? If Lagos state government had come out to say, we have about 10,000 housing units across the state, and these houses are meant to accommodate those whose properties or land has been marked for demolition. And then they come out and say, we have called these people to come and regularize so that they can be given a new place, and they refuse. Then everybody will say, oh, you're doing well. But in a situation where most of these places that have been demolished, at the end of the day, I'll give you a typical example. Take Yaba Market, for instance. When Yaba Market was demolished, initially they told the people to leave, because I know a lot about it. And the people didn't budge. Somebody
for the fire.
Somebody came and set the place on fire.
Okay.
And the government took over the place.
No, you said somebody came and set the place on fire.
Unknown person.
Okay.
Yes, because fire cannot just start on its own in the night. Unknown person. And then government took it over and built the gigantic structure. Most of the shops there are still vacant.
because they are quite expensive.
Good. We just have a bourgeois system. And that bourgeois system has no place for the ordinary Nigerian. It's not about whether you are an Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa. No. You just pray that government does not wake up one day and cite your where you are and have interest in it. Was it not 2 weeks ago, Alaba Arago was taken out? I agree. There has been an issue of environmental nuisance there. There's been an issue of drug and all of that. But after doing that, what plans do you have for those who have been staying there?
Okay. Now, I'd like for us to go back to the Oworonsoki area. When you drive through that area, and I also know that you have traveled, you do travel quite a lot, and Mosid said something about the coastal line. Some people are not permitted, people are not allowed to live around the coastal areas. Poor people, particularly because there are shanties, in those areas and all. When you drive through that Oworonsoki, when you drive through either Eko or Kata Bridge, and you overlook, the bridge, and you see that squalor and all of that, and when you travel abroad and see those places, how they look, and you come back.
The poor will always be with us, Mr. Okoro. We must not take that out of the system. No, the poor will always be with us. No, it is not left for government to find a way to accommodate them.
Okay.
You can't drive everybody out of the system. You can't say that everybody must be rich. No. The poor must always be there.
Says that poor people can't live there in decent places. That's the question I'm asking.
Let me tell you.
When you drive through those places, how do you feel?
It's not a matter of driving through those places.
Okay.
Most people in those places pay taxes.
You seem to be missing my point.
I'm not missing your point. I know where you're heading to.
You don't know.
Most people there pay taxes. Why has government not gone to do some developmental projects there? Why was it demolish it? You think demolition is a way of bringing development?
You rebuild if you don't demolish.
No.
I think the question should be asking is, when they rebuild, who goes back there to occupy those places? Shouldn't the government make space?
Let us be very honest with ourselves. Any place that is demolished, the people that will own it are not the poor people that will own it.
So you think that this government can act differently?
In what way? This is a bourgeois system.
Now that the people have decided to storm the Third Mainland Bridge to protest, yesterday the gridlock there was something else. People can't even, I think my sister came home around 11 p.m. yesterday with a little baby. What do you think this actually will have for the economic movement in Lagos State as a state?
Fina, if you like, protest from now till tomorrow. This set of leaders have cotton bud in their ears. They don't hear, they don't see.
That's the question I was going to ask you. Because this started on Sunday, and then we saw what happened yesterday, being Monday. Do you see this spiraling out of control?
Well, it also depends on how the government reacts. If the government decides that, okay, you guys are protesting, they send policemen after them, then you have chaos. The harm has been done. What we should be looking for is, what is the solution? What is the way forward? But as it is today, the Lagos State government does not have a way forward. Okay. They've done what they want to do, and it's there.
All right, then. All right, Eric, let me ask you the same question. We've seen, things like this happen. And if you want to juxtapose this with the fact that a lot of Nigerians are basically struggling to survive, hunger in the land. Just yesterday, we heard Nupeng was to embark on enough fuel in circulation. And also, the NLC is planning to go on strike to protest the 5% fuel tax and a lot of other things. People struggling to survive. And the kind of people we have residing around that area. Do you see this spiraling out of control? Before now, the Ilaje people have always complained about, intrusion into their area. And we know that on the other side of Oworonsoki, you have the Ilajes there as well. Do you see this spiraling out of control?
Approach the government will want to adopt, because when things like this happen, that is when they have to switch on their put on their thinking cap and think of crisis management. There's already a crisis, and these guys are protesting over what has happened. So the best way to prevent it from spilling or degenerating to something they cannot manage is for them to find a common ground. At least they still have leaders, despite the fact that when people are protesting, they have some opinion leaders.
Leaders, talking about the leaders now, in one of the reports we gathered, we heard that the chief in the area, or the Bale in the area, has been accused of not listening to the people, taking sides with the government. How do you think they'll be able to resolve that if already the leader is biased?
Where we do see things like that, if the man, according to them, is claiming that he wants his community to develop. That's what I was talking about, planning. My lecturer way back when I was in university used to tell us that one of the biggest mistake we make in the country, in Nigeria, in our own setting, is to develop before planning. But ideally, you're supposed to plan before development. So if you come up with a very good plan, even this issue my other colleague raised about the poor must live in those places. It depends on how the government decides to plan. If the government comes there early enough to put developmental things in place, that place can be made decent. Even when people want to live there, there's a way they will do it. They will not be slums, because nobody wants to see a slum in a major road like a road that's as busy as that. So definitely the government didn't really plan. It is not they're waking up. They wake up to develop after so many years. Rather, they're supposed to plan before they start developing. That's what the basic. That's where the fundamental issue lies. But even if the king or whatever now tried to take side with government because he said he wants his place to be developed, now that the city he has a new blueprint to make the place beautiful, then among those protesting, they should find one or two. Among them, there must be those who will be ready to come to the table and say, okay, this is what the government has to come up with. This is what we have for you guys. We know that it's not fair. What we did might not be good, but there are ways we can resolve these issues rather than creating more problems and maybe blocking the road and creating more socioeconomic challenges for people living in that axis of the city. So that's my take. There must be a common ground. They have to find a way of getting these guys who are leading the protest to see reasons with them by maybe coming up with something that they think will be encouraging for them to maybe just to share their weapons and try to make a retreat. Yeah.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Mr. Eric Ojo, who joined us virtually from the United States, and also Prince Francis Chilaka. Now let's get into another conversation. I would like you gentlemen to stay with us as we get into another conversation. Labour Party rejects Obi's candidacy as ADC declares readiness for 2027. Let's talk about this when we come back. Join us again.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOPTV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOPTV, Voice of the People Television.
Now, welcome back and thanks for staying with us. The Labour Party's National Publicity Secretary, Abayomi Arabambi, has declared that former presidential candidate Peter Obi will not secure the party's ticket for the 2027 elections. We recall Obi during the recent August by-elections had advised his followers to vote for candidates of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, which he has aligned with, but not officially joined. Although the former Anambra governor said this admonition stemmed from the absence of LP candidates across the country, the party debunked its statement as false and anti-party. RMB also accused the party's acting national chairperson, Nenadi Usman, and activist Asha Yusufu of working in alliance with Obi. He vowed that the party will move against them. He further challenged Obi to openly declare his exit from the party. Well, we still have in the studio here with us Prince Francis Chilaka, and also virtually by Eric Ojo, who joined us from California. We have been joined by Honorable Ejiofor Egwuatu, who is a former member, Anambra State House of Assembly. He's a political and social affairs commentator. Good morning to you, Honorable Egwuatu, and thanks for joining us on this program. We appreciate your presence.
Thank you very much. Good morning to everybody.
Okay, beautiful. Now let me start with you. The Labour Party faction, clearly faction, Arabambi, the national secretary of that faction, has said that, look, we cannot guarantee, in fact, we will not give Peter Obi our ticket in 2027. From what you understand that is going on within the Labour Party, should Peter Obi himself, should Nigerians take Arabambi seriously? Especially given the fact that the courts have said, INEC has said, look, Julius Abure and that faction, we don't recognize your tenure has expired and all of that. So what's your reaction to what Arabambi said that, look, Peter Obi won't...
Maybe a screening committee, a guidance committee, whatever committee, or even the National Working Committee of the party. So we might not be sure if that is the party's decision or his own thinking or the thinking of some other people. But be that as it may, in the last election in Onitsha North 1 constituency, the State Assembly election, Peter Obi campaigned for the ADC candidate. And then I remember also that during the flag-off of the Anambra State Labour Party flag-off for governorship, he was there as a member of Labour Party. So I get a little bit confused. Maybe that is based on this little confusion of what he does really belong to. That's why he is thinking along that line.
Okay. Now the person that spoke, Arabambi, I'm not sure he spoke in the capacity of his person. He spoke as the National Secretary of the Labour Party.
Yes, speaking as National Secretary, yes, I can agree to that. But whatever he said should not be taken as a decision of the party. If the proper persons who are supposed to sit down and take decisions for the party have not done so. As a national secretary, can have an opinion, which can be right or wrong.
All right then. He also accused Obi of anti-party activity, and you also did say just a few minutes ago that, look, in the just concluded by-elections in Anambra State, Onitsha North and all of that, Obi campaigned for the ADC and said, vote for the candidate of the ADC. He has not formally joined the ADC, but he has said, look, I'm for the coalition. He has not formally resigned his membership of the Labour Party, and he has not formally joined the ADC. As a politician, will you translate that as anti-party activity, or what do you think it was, or what it is?
It creates a lot of confusion. It speaks a lot about the crisis in these parties and the instability they are creating for themselves instead of coming together to become something they call an opposition. See, that instability kills the opposition they want to form or they want to become. So they create a lot of confusion. I can't say that Peter Obi belongs to this party or this one right now, because ADC is a political party that is established as a political party in Nigeria. And when you campaign for ADC, what it means is that you are aligning with the principles, ideologies of the party ADC, and then you are standing for this candidate.
Okay, all right. Honorable, one more question before we leave you now for this conversation. Now, when you say that there's a lot of confusion, does it look like Peter Obi himself is confused? Because a lot of his followers are also confused. They don't know where he is, not formally resigned from the Labour Party, not formally joined the ADC. Does it look like Obi himself is confused? What do you think?
I wouldn't make that categorical statement, but you can see there is a lot of confusion everywhere. Everybody is, all his followers are looking at it that, wow, where do we stand in all of this? And to contest for presidency in this Nigeria, you must now 2025, they don't know where they are, they don't know where they belong to, they don't know which party they are working with. It will be difficult for them to have that spread and have that kind of followership that they need to have to be able to be a part of that election. That is a serious contender in that election.
Thank you so much, Honorable Ejiko. Now let's bring it to you, Prince Francis Chilaka. Alabibi, when he was talking yesterday, said something about Obi not having what it takes. Even the 7 million vote that he gathered during the last election, he did not just get them solely. It was because of the fact that persons that joined the NSAS movement and, more like a widespread discontent from the former president, Buhari, that was what gave him that leverage to have such votes. Do you also share that line of thought? And then also tell me what you make of the fact that he is threatening that the likes of Aisha Yusuf, who happens to be an activist, and the acting chairman of the party, talking about Nadabi Usman, they will be expelled from the party for colluding with Peter Obi.
I've long decided that the likes of Arab and B are not worth discussing. Yes, I've decided that. As far as I'm concerned, Arab and B, Apapa, Abure, all of them, they're not worth discussing.
But why this is
These are people who do not understand where they're coming from. They don't understand their early beginnings. We all know about Labour Party. We all know the time they had only one governor, Mimiko. And we all know the way Labour Party has been or was before Peter Obi came on board. So you don't discredit somebody because you don't like the person's face or you don't like the person. No, you don't do that. If Peter Obi is not sellable, is not marketable, Labour Party would not have freely given him the ticket when he came in 2023. If Peter Obi had won this election, Arab and B would be licking the foot of Peter Obi by now. Because as far as I'm concerned, Arab and B is one of those stomach infrastructure politicians.
Sorry, Prince, when you say you don't discuss people who don't know where they are, people who don't know where they are coming from, these particular people, don't you think they know where they are going?
No, they don't know where they are.
Don't you think they know where they are going?
No. We know the game they are playing.
No, do you think they know where they are going?
They know the game they are playing.
What game are they playing? If you say you know the game,
the game they are. See, you cannot call yourself a party man, and when your party has an issue, you fight yourselves. Look at what happened during the period they were going to court for the election. Look at the role they played. Spoilers. That's the role they have been playing. I try not to, push the matter to an ethnic bias, but that is what it is. I will not be surprised tomorrow Arab Abi will start singing. He's been singing APC indirectly. So let him come out like Boala, so we know where he stands.
No, but if you say he's singing or maybe he's...
As far as I'm concerned, Arab and B's group has been put aside.
What do you
so they need to accept that.
What do you have to say about your caseman who actually is one party is endorsing a different candidate from a different party, without fielding the party?
Which party does Wike belong to?
The Labour Party. Now,
which party does Wike belong to?
Are you saying on this table that we should continue to commit sin for grace to abide?
No. This is Nigerian politics.
But Wike told you that
the political class they've ruined the system. Those we look up to as leaders are the ones ruining the system. Your president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who calls himself a Democrat, should have been able to call Wike to order. But when he closes his eye to what is going wrong, they're not saying that everybody can do it. Well, the thing is that Peter Obi, Atiku, none of them has become an official member of ADC. But they have a freedom, they have the right to support who they want to support. We must not deny them that right.
Even against their own party.
We must not deny them that right. We are moving away from party politics to individuals, to integrity, to men and women of honor and proven integrity. That's what we're moving into. If the party brings out a non-entity as a candidate, should I support that non-entity because I belong to the party?
Why don't you then resign your position from the party?
I just answered the question. I do not need to. No. If the party brings out somebody I feel does not have the qualification, that does not make me, that should not push me to resign. I would rather support somebody I know that has the same
So when you campaign for a candidate that is not of your party, isn't that clearly anti-party activity? So doesn't the party have the right to expel you?
When you say the party, who is the party? Is it a Ramambi faction?
No. I'm not talking about Ramambi.
Let the real structure of Labour Party come out and speak. Not a Ramambi.
Now let me ask you this question, Prince Francis. Are we seeing Peter Obi moving to ADC? And if that is to happen, are we going to see the likes of Nadi Usman and other persons that have actually been aligning with
you already know what is playing out already.
They're going to move with him.
You know that Senator Atiku Gibi has moved to ADC. You know that Road Vivers has moved. These are foot soldiers. And for anybody who is a tactician going to war, it is your foot soldiers that move first to test the waters before the commander will come out.
Interesting.
So we're going to see in the next, like I keep saying, before the end of this year, we will have a formidable coalition.
All right, let's get your opinion on this, Mr. Eric Ojo. 2027 political space is what we're trying to extract still in 2025. We have another report that says that the former president of Nigeria, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, have come up to reject every other thing that people are saying about him not having interest, in contesting for the presidential seat in 2027. He's saying that he is going to get there, even when the wife, have come up to endorse the president, saying, no, I'm tired of going to the Aso Rock. I'm not interested in that. What do you have to say about this, the political space in Nigeria? Can you hear me, Mr. Eric Ojo? I would like you to unmute your device. Go ahead.
I'm not loud enough. Okay, yeah. I said, well, I'm not a politician and I don't claim to be one. And party politics in Nigeria, the way I see it as an observer, I've covered many elections as an observer with the European Union and some other international agencies. The way things are done before an election, there are so many political intrigues, there are so many horse trading, there are so many things going on. So they fly the cat, they do a lot of things, especially in our space where politicians are sort of given that kind of, they have the proclivity to move from one party to the other because of the ideological, maybe say interest or what they feel is personal to them, especially those that are at the leadership position. So everything that is playing out, I'm just watching them like main drama that we normally see before the main elections. People do a lot of permutations. They are testing the water. They want to make some move, fly some kite, and see how the whole thing plays out. So that's exactly what they don't really come out to say, like the Goodluck Jonathan and his wife. I know all this while he will say people want me to come out and run again. The otherwise he will say no. The wife will say I will support the current president. These are just, I see them as just political gimmicks. They're just things that happen before an election. What for the?
All right, go ahead. Let me hear your thought, please.
Yes. What I wanted to say is internal. What happens internally among parties is the affairs of those who are involved in those parties. So whoever they want to drop, whoever they claim to be anti their party principles or whatever, it is just all part of the game. It's like politics, as you see the way they play it, is like a game where people don't really get so committed to values and principles. In our own realm, I know that even in America here, the first time somebody from the Democratic Party or the Republican move over to the other party, it's a whole lot of issues But here in our own time, things just the way we do things, we just take things the way we see them. At the end of Nigerian factor, just Nigerian politics Nigeriana. That is how we play. But definitely, I don't see any of these things as something somebody can just beat his chest and say, yeah, this is what I heard and this is what's going to happen. So just fingers crossed. I'm just watching from the like as somebody watching from the sideline.
All right. Now, as an observer, before I bring you back to the studio, you've been able to, observe other elections or politics being played in other African nations. With Nigeria at this point in time being the giant of Africa, and the fact that some time ago someone told us that people from Ghana, came to Nigeria to learn, to pick one or two things that we're doing to make sure that, it's actually will be strong enough. What do you think? In 2027, what do you think we're going to be having with all these gladiators now, political gladiators coming up just for that single set?
Well, the way elections are conducted in Nigeria is just on a different climb altogether. We all know this. The thing is, everything that plays out since 1999 when we came back to this current democratic dispensation, it has just been the same thing. What we keep seeing is we see violence, we see thuggery, we see people that are so desperately seeking power at all costs, we see people being killed, we see the police being dragged into it, to the extent of even dragging the military into it. Election in Nigeria is something that I don't know how to describe it in clear terms, because I observe election in other countries. Elections are done. It's a civil act. It's a civil thing. People do it. Even in America here, when you do elections, you don't even know the time people will cast their vote. All you see, at the time you know it, they're already counting. So in our own realm, every war is like war. Election is like war. That's why some of our leaders have always said, it's do or die. It's not supposed to be so. You are out to serve. You want to serve your people, and you think you have what it takes to serve. So why should you kill? Why should you be so violent and so desperate about it, as if you want to serve and you contest and you don't win, and so be it. You can read how many times the late American president contested elections before he eventually won. So it's not something that somebody should, in our own right. I don't think between now and that 27, nothing will happen that will change our orientation, because it's about the people, it's about the actors, it's about the election body. Everybody do it the way they think that is how to do it. But I don't think we are getting it right. We are not getting it right.
Thank you so much, Mr. Eric Ojo. To you now, Honorable, before you go out to the comeback or return of Jonathan, what does this portend for PDP and Nyesom Wike, who actually have been talking tough in that particular party?
For me, I don't think the Jonathan's return is real. For me, I don't think it is real. Having been through what he went through as a president, and then the 2015 betrayals and all the rest of them. And if you look at Jonathan today, you see that he's looking very, very, he's very good looking now. He's getting so many awards from so many places outside Nigeria. He's getting recognized. He's been lifted to that very high level of statesmanship that very few Nigerian presidents have had the privilege of being there. So I don't really think, having not heard directly from Jonathan speak when, about this, I don't think it's real. I remember there was a time in a function where Jonathan said it is difficult to wake somebody who is pretending to be sleeping up. I expect such very wise words from him concerning this. But since we have not heard anything, I do not believe it is real that he's coming out for presidency again.
So what happened if he made it to that particular state? All right.
For me, again, personally, I wouldn't want Jonathan to get involved in this kind of thing now, because he has attained an enviable height where he has become a very serious statesman, that is, a very reputable figure for Nigeria internationally. He shouldn't be involved. There is an award he won the other time. I can't remember the name of the award. A very, very serious award from the international community. Jonathan has gone sui generis. He has come to a class of his own in the history of Nigerian presidents. So I think it is best that he be getting involved.
All right, thank you so much, Honorable Ejiofor. To you, Prince Francis, you also shared a line of thoughts. You know, Nigerians are calling for a
Who are the
credible
Nigerians
leader.
calling?
People are calling for someone that will actually push Nigeria forward.
You see, let me tell you the truth. If Jonathan...
bear in mind that there's been some sort of case in court where Jonathan and the lawyer representing him, you know, had INEC and, you know, a few others go to court to talk about Section 137 of the Constitution that says that talks about being sworn in twice. And then it's been cleared by the court, I think a court in Abuja or somewhere. I need to get that right. It's been cleared by the court that since the law that says you can't be sworn in twice came into effect in 2018, it doesn't apply to him since he left office before that came into play. Let's just put that in the mix.
For me, it's not about the law. It's about morality, and it's about statesmanship. Jonathan has come out to tell us how he got betrayed by his those he considered to be very close to him. And I would say that if Jonathan is a very sincere Nigerian, just like the Honorable has said, you know, I remember that his famous quote that it's easy to wake somebody who is naturally sleeping than to wake somebody who is pretending to sleep. Except Jonathan is now pretending to sleep. You know, that's it. But I would say this, you know, with respect to him, he shouldn't involve himself in the politics we have today. What we have today is madness. So he shouldn't involve himself. He should remain where he is, enjoy the international exposure he's getting and accolades, and just give his own advice as a former president and move on. Even when people think that he has what it takes to push. Well, who are the people? That's the question. It's the same people who are bringing him are the same people who carry this coffin. Have you forgotten? Is it not the same people? Crucify him, crucify him. So what are we talking about? So for me, Jonathan should just, you know, he should go and, you know. But I think this is what is trying to play out. If Jonathan picks up the ticket in PDP as they want, P2B will definitely pick up the ticket in ADC. Yes.
Why do you say so? With Atiku.
I said
there?
if Jonathan picks up the ticket in PDP, P2B will pick up the ticket in ADC.
Why do you say so?
The handwriting on the wall is very clear. Any political party that does not want a protest vote will not feature in Northern. And the North understands that. Maybe after the 8 years of the South, we can now begin to say, we're now looking for somebody that is not about religion, not about tribe. But until this 8 years is exhausted, nothing.
You have always maintained that
Atiku will not contest.
Confidently, you say that?
Yes, he will not.
Prince, what is it that you know that we don't know? Please let us into all of that.
After the same rally,
yes,
and Atiku will not contest. Atiku will shock Nigerians. Atiku is one man who believes it's time to move this country forward. And he will do what he needs to do.
What really changed? Why the sudden, you know, interest in moving?
Have you seen Atiku come out one-on-one? No. Has Atiku come out one-on-one to tell you that he's contesting? Has it?
Well, it's not yet time for that yet.
No. Has it come out?
No, but Atiku has said that, look, we'll throw open the ticket of the ADC.
When you say Atiku has said, is Atiku ADC?
No, he said...
He is a member of the coalition. And before this coalition was formed, they had understanding.
Okay.
And that understanding will come to play.
But do you think that ADC is fully prepared for this 2027 election? Do you think...
When people say ADC is not prepared, I ask you, how do you prepare for an election? You need to have your polling agents and all of that. And I've said this thing here before, and I'll say it again. Those who have come to build this coalition, individually, they have their strongholds.
Okay.
And that's what they're bringing to the table. They all have their strongholds.
Now, Prince, you said something. You said that when they came to form the coalition, ADC, they had an understanding.
Yes.
What is that understanding?
Don't worry, time will tell.
interesting time. Thank you so much for His Francis Chilaka. We learned that we got to let you, go for all the businesses that we have. Thank you so much for being part of today's
You're welcome.
this morning. We'll go on a quick break. And also, indulge you gentlemen to stay with us. I'm talking about Eric Ojo. Please continue to be with us and Honorable Ejiofor Egwatu. We'll go on a quick break and when we come back, we'll dissect the third topic of conversation, which is about the sit-at-home order. Activists lead a protest against Simon Ekpa and demand end to violence in Southeast, as they say, no more sit-at-home in the southeastern part of Nigeria.
Good morning. It's the start of a beautiful day. Or start your day right with a healthy dose of news, fun, and inspiration. Join us on VOP this morning for the latest news, trending topics, and uplifting stories to set your day on the right vibe. From news and current events to lifestyle and entertainment, you are covered.
VOP This Morning, 8 a.m., Monday through Friday.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe! Hunger no get religion!
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television. Don't just react, understand. The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as they hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight.
Glad to have you back at VOP this morning. A Nigerian social activist, Akin Okonowo, popularly known as Aluta, has declared that the infamous sit-at-home order that has crippled the Southeast must come to an end, warning that Ndibos must be allowed to breathe. Okonowo, who identifies as the general tutor of anti-cult lessons in Nigeria and national leader of anti-cult activities in Nigeria, told journalists that he mobilized Nigerians across ethnic lines to resist what he described as criminal incitement by Simon Ekpa, the self-styled prime minister of the so-called Biafra Republic government in exile, he said. According to him, the protest campaign against Ekpa reached its peak in Abuja when demonstrators stormed the Finnish embassy, demanding urgent action from Helsinki government against the man accused of using his bases in Finland to instigate killings in the southeast through his notorious sit-at-home directives. We have with us, joining us from Oka, we have Honorable Ejiofor Egwatu, former member, Anambra State House of Assembly. He's here in the capacity of a political analyst and social commentator. And we also have Eric Ojo, Abuja-based independent researcher and freelance journalist, also joined this conversation. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being with us. Let me start off with you, Honorable Ejiofor Egwatu. What do you make of this particular call by this activist? No more sit at home in the Southeast. Yesterday was Monday. And I'd like to, in Oka, can you help us actually tell us what the situation of things like in Anambra?
Sit at home has been a very bad omen for the Southeast. It has cost the Southeast so much investment, so much opportunity, so much commerce. But all the same, the governors of the Southeast have intentionally put in a lot of things to kill that spirit of sit at home. In Anambra today, so many businesses are opening now, so many people move around. The effect of the sit at home order is winning down fast. We expect that if proper measures are continued, it will die a natural death. And one surprising thing about the sit at home is that so many people have used that as a personal day of having rest. So it's funny, but that's what is happening. So many people think that that Monday has now become an official rest day for people of something like Onitsha. They think that having worked all through Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, on Sundays there are town meetings and events, functions, and all the rest of them. But on Monday, you see a lot of people at the stadium trying to work out. You see a lot of people at home in their small enclaves, sitting together, discussing issues that pertain to that enclave. Okay. That small places.
All right. Honorables, let's just stay with you. And you are in Okade, you are in Anambra State, you are in the Southeast. Can you fill us into what has been the response, and the state of insecurity or the state of security in the Southeast since Simon Ekpa was sentenced about 10 days ago? What has it been like? People's reaction, have people, come out to say, look, this is good, and because we heard that there were skirmishes on that day that he was sentenced. We are yet to confirm that. You are there in the Southeast. Can you fill us in?
I don't think there wasn't really any major thing that happened on that day concerning Simon Ekpa. You will recall that in times past, within the past 1 year, the state government has been able to differentiate between people who are really doing activism for whatever thing and people who are criminals.
Okay.
And so the government has gone against the criminals, and in the last election, the Anambra South election, part of the places where we are being occupied by these criminals in times past, where things could not happen peacefully, elections were conducted in those places peacefully, results declared peacefully. So I think the government has done quite well.
I'm sorry to butt in, Honorable. I mean, since after Ekpa's sentence, since he was sentenced, what has been the security situation? Has his sentencing, or has it impacted positively or negatively to the state of security or insecurity in the Southeast?
Now, the background I'm giving you is what will make you understand why his sentencing will
beautiful.
Okay. Because we have been able to differentiate that there are criminals who are using whatever to do a lot of crime, and we are going against them. That's the different thing. So whether he is sentenced or not does not really affect anything directly down here, because we have been able to differentiate these criminals and deal with them as criminals. Now, the agitation is a different thing, and that agitation can come from anybody with any view. It is not the way you want me to be part of it that I want to be part of it. I might want to be part of it in a different way. I know Igbos are very enlightened people, very independent people, very, they like using whatever they want. They have to get whatever they want. So you don't really push everybody to follow that same path that you think is the one that everybody should follow. Most times people don't do that in the Southeast here. I don't know how to explain it well for now, but the Simon Ekpa thing doesn't really count so much in anything we do in Anambra. It might count in any other place, but if you behave like a criminal, you are treated like a criminal. That's it.
All right, thank you so much, Honorable Ejiofor. Mr. Eric Ojo, please, let's get your opinion on this. Given the fact that the man we're talking about here once made himself the Prime Minister of the Biafran government in exile. As someone who actually you do your research well, what do you really make of this? The fact that someone else is saying no sit-at-home order again in the Southeast, well, we know that in one breath, others are saying that we have to keep on doing this at home until when Nnamdi Kanu, who happens to be the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, is being set free from the police captivity.
Okay, thank you very much. I think the issue has been very, very, I would say, some element of surprises and controversy around it, because if the person who is at the forefront is being tried for terrorism and he's been prosecuted for his role in starting the entire thing, and the federal government came and said what the organization under which he's operating has been proscribed and has been bound, and Ekpa said he wants to do it from the diaspora. So what he's doing in the diaspora, to the extent that the country where he's based, where he's a citizen, has also seen the negative effect of that, to the extent that he was just sentenced, given a 6-year jail term. So what I want to say is that, like the Honorable said, what always amazes me about the whole thing that's playing out in the East is that who are those enforcing somebody that is not in government, a non-governmental person or whoever, where we have a government, we have a parliament, somebody somewhere will just give order from somewhere and the people decide to just go. Who are the enforcers? Like he said, rightly said, are they the criminals, or are they those who are actually strong adherents to that proscribed body? That has been my question. But thank God, like he said, if the government has not tried to do something about that, because I keep wondering why somebody who is not even in Nigeria can give an order, say sit at home, and the people just sit at home. So I don't know how that is. Like it's a mystery. I don't know how that happens. So and all this why it has like he said, a lot of losses has been recorded. A situation where that area, that's axis of the country, is where businesses happen every day. So if you create a distortion on one single day, and you put the whole sum, the losses and everything that has been done, and even debt, a lot of that has occurred. Even at the idea of Biafra, we record that actually, Sasha, over 1 million persons were killed during the first time that attempt was made. And it didn't end well. A lot of things happened, and history keep repeating itself. I bring back an ideal that has made people, a certain group of people has lost their life in that kind of, it's like a program, that kind of quantity.
Now, talking about history now, Mr. Eric Ojo, talking about history, before the Civil War, the Biafra War happened, something led to that according to history. And now again, we're getting the same persons from the same region to coming up against, to cry and talk about the marginalization that was based of the first Biafra war that happened, many years ago. Is it that the government is not really learning from the history? Because it's not like the present people there are still talking about the same thing. Now, do you think that particular ideology is going to die down anytime soon without people doing what they should do, or maybe carrying along those from that region?
Yeah, agitations don't die. There must always have people who share that view, like the Honorable said. People might have a different approach to it, but those who feel that the way they can go about it is to start causing mayhem, killing people, stealing, kidnapping, and causing all manners of distortion in society, they will not, an ideologies and ideas don't die. The people must still reconnect to that. Even as we speak, they still have supporters. And that's why when they say sit at home, if you don't sit at home, the set of persons will come and attack you, even when you want to go against whatever they are doing in terms of protest. So I don't think it will fizzle away and die. But like you said, if the government decide to not take the bull by the horn and start doing things and in a way where these things cannot just be a recurring thing and that things that will linger for so long, I think they might somehow things might gradually fall in place. Maybe the voices will be reduced. It will just make grumbling and if the entire things are put in place and say it's a problem that the governors in that region want to really address. It's something that they can do because they're the same people. It's just like we have something that we feel is not good, but we don't think the best approach is to go this way because a lot of losses have been done. A lot of people are being killed in this whole process, apart from the financial and economic losses that is being recorded. So I think that is just a way. There must be a way out. But I agree with you that ideologies don't die. People will also keep it, no matter how crazy the ideas are. People will still have to take it as what they think is the best for them to do. They just want their voice to be heard. They want to be identified. Because the whole thing resonates with their own thinking, with their own perception, and with their own understanding.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's yeah.
Thank you so much. Honorable Ejiofor, let's bring you again, in this particular conversation. Now we're looking at what Akin Okunowo said. Do you think that this particular movement in the Southeast, which we know must have, gained more sympathizers now at this point in time, in any way going to help to stop the issue of sit-at-home in the Southeast? Do we need an Akin Okunowo to tell us no more sit-at-home order in the Southeast for it to happen?
Akin Okunowo, does he stay in the Southeast? Does he live with the Southeasterners? Does he understand how they behave? The no more sit-at-home has begun in Enugu. It has begun in Anambra. It has spread. I'm very sure that the Enugu state government had to do a lot of fights with even traders to get their shops to open on a sit-at-home. So the no more sit-at-home has started, and it is well long before today. So whatever he's doing might add a color, to the agitation. But no problem. We welcome him. Let him come to the Southeast. We can deliberate with him and see whether he has new ideas that will help us. But so far, the sit-at-home is dying gradually, and people are resuming every Monday for everything. In fact, yesterday was Monday. I went through 5 or 6 towns in Anambra on small meetings. And that shows that the place is peaceful, the people are enjoying themselves. You sitting in your house will become your personal decision and not being compelled by anybody whatsoever to sit at home. So every Anambrarian who wants to sit at home does so because that person is personally convinced to be in his or her house. If you have any cause to move, there is a patrol for police patrol, army patrol, vigilante patrol, combined teams patrolling all over Anambra State. All the local government chairmen allow or sponsor patrols in their localities so that nobody will harass anybody. And so people are free to move around whenever they want to move around. Even so many markets are opening now, even in Onitsha. So we are expecting that more markets will open, more banks will begin to join, and
so basically, the confidence of the people is growing. Confidence to come out.
Of the people is growing. Yes. The confidence of the people is growing, and so many markets are beginning to open. And once the markets are opening, 1 or 2 days, the banks will be forced to open because the money is sold will get to the bank.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Honorable Ejiofor Egwatu. By the way, I like your cup. It seems to be representing the green, white, green. Is that green I see?
It's black and white.
Oh my goodness! It looks greenish from over here. But thank you very much for joining us, Honorable Ejiofor Egwatu is a former member of the Anambra House of Assembly, and also a political commentator. We do appreciate you. And we must say a very big thank you to Eric Ojo, who is an independent researcher, a freelance journalist who is currently in California, United States, where he joined us from. We appreciate you for your time and your thoughts on the program.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I would like for you to join us again sometime soon. Well, that's it on the show this morning. That's it on VOP this morning. But newspaper review comes up shortly. And on newspaper review, we'll be going into the papers, dissecting the headlines from the dailies. On behalf of my colleagues, Chukuma Okoro, Fina Okechukwu, I am Moses Humphrey. Wishing you a beautiful morning. But join us again at 10. Bye for now.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introduce